Welcome to another tutorial on an EdTech tool that can help you in your classroom educational environment. This particular tool is called Buncee. This is a creation and communication tool that allows you to share visually. You can build media-rich lessons, reports, flyers, presentations, newsletters, and more. It's a free web-based tool. There's no downloads. Now there's also a premium version that sometimes you may not be able to do one of the functions, and that would be because you have the free version. But I think you'll find the free version to be very helpful and allow you to do pretty much exactly what you want to do. In order to get access to it, edu.buncee.com, and then you would sign up, and you can sign up like you can in all kinds of usual platforms. If you have Google credentials, you can sign up with that. You can sign up with an email, whatever you need to do, you can go ahead and do that. In the free account, they're going to allow you to see the premium situation for 30 days. If you do not sign up for the premium version, you will be downgraded to the free version, and you can see here what some of the things are that you have access to and things that you don't have access to and so forth. Obviously, it's best to try the free version, and if this is something that you use a lot and you feel that the monthly paid fee is worth your while, but normally in these situations, I just continue to use the free version. You're going to be limited to 3 things, 3 Buncees that you can create and keep in your Buncee account. Beyond that, however, you have the ability to share them, so you can still build them and then move them elsewhere and still keep them, and then just kind of delete them out of your account, and you'll get access to building up to 3 more. So it can be used for any subject, any class, by teachers, or by students. It allows you to create things like digital flyers. It can be a platform for storyboarding or brainstorming. You can create invitations, digital or print signage. Use it for slide presentations, ad copy mock-ups, and graphic directions. So let's go ahead and get started. So once you have created your account and logged in, this is the screen you'll be looking at. You're ready to create your first new Buncee. Now you'll see here, welcome to your free trial. We hope you enjoy using our premium features. There's certain things that you're going to be able to do to your Buncee that you won't be able to do once your 30 days expires and you no longer have the free version unless you decide to pay for it. I believe the monthly fee is $7 a month. If you decide that this is something you want to use, again, I don't pay for any of these things. I figure out ways to use the free version and do what I want, or I stop using them. So at this particular point, if you had other Buncees created here, you'd see them listed and you could go in and click on them and get access and then do any edits that you would need to do. So you can create in one of 2 places. You can hit create right here, or you can hit create right here. Now, just so you understand from the tutorial point of view, I'm going to be just showing you some of the basics. There's a lot more things to explore, and we could turn this video into an hour long if I showed you all the individual bells and whistles that you can use. If you'd like to see what else is out there, you can actually click on the Ideas Lab up here in the top right, and it will actually give you some ideas. It will give you some Buncees that have been created by other people on all kinds of various topics, so you can see whether or not there might be something that gives you some ideas. You can also search by topic here if you're looking for something to help you get started. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create the new board, and we have create on Buncee 3.0. It's actually their latest, greatest digital storytelling version. But if somebody has been using 2.0 and they have a number of Buncees already created, they would be able to go back to that version. We might as well go right to the version 3. And we're going to open up our board here. You can skip through this. Yes, we want to create the tutorial and start creating. So basically, like a lot of other platforms where you're doing digital creation on a board or a page or a site, they're very, very similar to how they all work. You're going to start with creating a board. You have some 25 plus categories of templates down here. These may not be templates that are of interest to you, or they might find something that's appropriate for what you need to do. I find a lot of times these things are a little bit more cartoony than what I want to get to. You can actually search. You can go to recently used if you have other Buncees in your account. And again, you can search for subjects. Maybe there's a science one you're going to work on, your math, you're going to do something with English. And you can pull up some of the templates that are here. So that is a possibility that you're going to create a template, or you can start from scratch. I'm going to start from scratch. Now, we want to talk about essentially three parts of your stage or your screen. This is your stage where you're going to do your work, this large white area here. We got a couple of icons that we'll go into in a moment. Once you start adding things to the stage, you're going to see them populate here. These are basically layers. So if you're familiar with any of the digital tools, specifically things like any of the Adobe products or so forth, where you're adding layers. If you're not, think of it as a sandwich. You start with your bottom bread, then you might put some meat, some cheese, some tomatoes, some lettuce, top piece of meat, what have you. Well, once you get multiple things in your items here, you can actually click and drag them and adjust the order or adjust what layer they are, what's on top versus what's on bottom. Where that becomes relevant is, let's say I have a text box here and then I add an image. Well, if I had the text box first and then I have the image will actually be on top of the text box. Well, maybe I want the text box to be on top. I can drag these items to various different orders, and that's the way that my layers will be resituated on my stage. As I add, this is page 1, you can see, because we're kind of outlined here, as I add additional pages, they're going to show up here. The outline is the page that I'm on, so although it looks exactly the same, I'm now on page 3. If I click here, I am on page 1. And I can take these pages and move them around in whatever order. They will renumber themselves once I do that, but I can actually move these pages around in a different order. Okay, so go back to page 1. Oops. So there we go. I'm now on page 1, and again, we can tell that because it is outlined here. So I didn't want to use any of those templates, but I'm going to do something with a background. And so there's a number of different types of backgrounds that are already populated here. There's different things I can do. I can go to the web and get an image. I can deal just with color if I don't want an image. I can upload something that I have off my own machine. I can look at other Buncees that have been created and see if anything particular is trending. But let's say I want to go here, and I'll try this page. So we can change the background at any time if, as we start adding things, maybe this ends up getting too busy. I just picked one, but you can do what you want. You can pick an image, you can just pick colors, and maybe that might be appropriate to get started. But I just wanted to grab a couple things to show you so you can see our images popped up here. We're on page 1 again because that's what we have outlined, and we can see our image. I can duplicate the page if I'd like whatever I do on this page. Let's say I add 5 or 6 things to this page, and I'd like to then add that page again and maybe do something else to it, but I don't want to impact this particular page. I could duplicate this page. It would make another exact copy of this, and then I could do whatever edits I need to do on that. So we should name our item. You would probably want to name it based on the assignment or the class or whatever you need to do. And you can see that it autosaves. So once I hit the return key, it tells you right here all changes are saved. Under settings, I can take a look at what I might want to do here. You can show the watermark, which is, you're not going to have that option if you're getting the free version. If there's a watermark, it's going to be stuck on there. Some of these things, like everything else, only works if you have the paid version, not if you have the free version. So we're at the point now where we have this first page, we want to add some things. So under items, you're just going to hit this plus, and here's all kinds of things that you can add. Now again, I want to tell you, we are in the premium version. You're not going to have access. I know specifically you don't have access to this, and I think some of these here may also be off the table. We can add a text box. We can add shapes. We actually have a drawing tool where we could actually do some drawing. There's a number of other kind of image things. There's an animation, a sticker, a message, 3D, emojis, so forth. We can add images from the web, Khan Academy videos. You can create your own individual slides, kind of like a PowerPoint slide deck, and then can have multiple pages over here that you'll do that work in. So let's start off with a text box. I have my text box here. I can click and drag it and put it anywhere I want to. I can drag any of these points, make things bigger, smaller, whatever I want to do. And I double click in. Do whatever I want with the language. You have all kinds of different things that you can do as far as colors and so forth. So always check your toolbars, whatever page or whatever item you're on. You get the idea of different things that you can do. I can deal with colors and so forth along that line. Again, I can just click on it and move it wherever I feel it's going to be appropriate. I'm good. And notice now we have the particular item. So once I add the second item, so I'm going to look for a picture of a tree. Okay, so I'm going to do something like this, and I'll say add one, and now my tree shows up. Okay, and again, I can do what I want from a picture. Not very artistic or creative here, but I just want to show you how to move some things in. Now, from a layering perspective, if I go back over here to the right, and we have our items, this is right on top of the background. This is the very next item. So I can move the order of these things, and where that would come into play is you'll notice how I may want one of these in front of the other or behind the other if I'm going to put them close together. If I have more than one item, then I'm good. So let's add another page here. Again, I can go to the same background if I want. I can change the background up. Maybe I just want to do something with color, and maybe I'll click around here, and maybe I'm going to say that for all of the remaining pages that I'm going to create, we have this color, not really the same blue-green here, but I'm going to add my item. So I type in interest rates. And maybe this is something that I want to add. So I have added this this video here that's going to play inside this Buncee. So I got that. And then maybe I add a text box that I move up here. And I got my text box. So again, I have my pages. I changed my background, so that's why I eliminated that picture. And I have this. So if I go back to my first slide, we're right here. And then I can zoom those items out. And I can advance the pages on this once I'm done. So when you're ready to see what's on your presentation, you can just click on Preview, and it'll populate it for you. And now the toolbar down at the bottom turns into page 1 of 3. You can hit autoplay, which allows you to set a timer if you'd like, so that this thing can continuously play in the background. You see it's kind of playing there. If I want to go back and do my pages one at a time, here's page 1. And if I'm presenting or demonstrating something, there's page 2. And then I can launch the video and play that if I want to. I have the ability to go back into any of these at any particular time, edit any pages that I want to when I get out of that, and continue to update and add to these particular items. So I've added an extra slide. I've added an image inside this particular first slide. And again, I hit preview to get to this particular spot. If I want to go back to any of these slides and make any adjustments, I just hit edit. Here's slide 2, which is the video that we added before. And slide 3, I added an open-ended question. That may or may not be an option that's available when you are no longer using the premium model. But again, there's lots of other tools that you can use that are worth exploring. So when you're all set and you want to send this either to your students, or if you're a student using this tool and you want to send it to your instructor, you go up to the share button and you have various choices here. First of all, you're going to want to set this to anyone with the link. That's the easiest way to deal with it. Code. Here's your exact link to your particular Buncee. And if you're embedding this in a web page somewhere, you have the embed code that you could copy. You could send the link directly in an email. You can do any of the social platforms with it, and then you can finally download it. It turns it into a PDF, and you can download any of the individual pages, or you can download the entire thing. So let's pull up a Buncee already completed. This is called a brief history of President's Day. You can see that there are 6 slides here. We can look at individual pages. We can pan around the page. We can go full screen, and we can go autoplay. I'm going to click on autoplay. President's Day is a federal holiday celebrated, originally established in 1885 in recognition of President George Washington. And as you can see, it probably has a 5-second timer on it. You can adjust the timer right here. Yep, I was right, 5-second timer. So if we were finding that people weren't reading it in that amount of time, you can adjust where you're at, and then go back forward and play it again. So this is Buncee. This is a creation and a communication tool where you're allowed to show things visually, where you can build media-rich lessons, reports, flyers, presentations, newsletters, and more. Thanks. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial.